Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and we are back with another deck profile for the month of August, and of course, it is dedicated to my favorite archetype of the game, and of course, one of the most controversial and popular videos for the channel. It's a Harpie deck profile, and it's gonna be a bit of a bulky one because I have a lot of cards that I wanted to talk about that I am actually testing right now. And there's a lot of things going on, and I know because of how things are for some people, there are still a lot of cards that are very expensive, and a few of them you see right here in the video in the lineup of the deck profile. So I do have some alternatives just for those who can't get to those cards, or in the likelihood of them being expensive in the TCG, when some of them do come, we can always fit in some other options. And there's also some other various decks that I am testing with Harpies as well. So right now, let's just get into the deck profile. So I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Harpist, 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1, 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 1 copy of Harpie Dancer, 1 copy of Harpie Queen, 1 copy of Harpie Lady Sisters, 1 Miss Valley Apex Avian, and 1 copy of Barrier Statue of the Stormwind. For the spells, 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 3 copies of Elegant Egotist, 2 Harpies Hunting Ground, 2 Alluring Mirror Split, 1 Harpies Feather S, 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, 2 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Then, for the trap cards, 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm and 3 copies of Hysteric Party. Now for the extra deck. 2 copies of Cyber Slash Harpie Lady. 2 copies of Harpie Conductor. 1 copy of Winnie the Wind Charmer Verdant. 1 copy of Tri Brigade Feligetti, or is it Feldugetti, the Fruitless Flower. 1 copy of Selene, the Queen of Master Magicians. 1 copy of Samorg, Bird of Sovereignty. 1 copy of Access Code Talker. 1 copy of Tri Brigade Shriek, the Wicked Wings. 1 Lightning Chidori. 1 Castel. 1 Ice Zero Fine. 1 Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. And 1 copy of Double A Zeus. So that pretty much just rounds out the deck itself. Now, there are a couple of monsters at the bottom, cards in the bottom that you see in the side deck, and I'm gonna try to make it sorry about that, as accessible as possible to talk about alternatives in case some of us can't get to particular cards. There's also some cards that I did want to feature in terms of Harpies because there are a lot of good combinations with other cards that can come to the game and really help boost the game up. So, just for an overall, I guess it's kind of more self-explanatory when it comes to most of the monsters in the main deck. Harpie Channeler, she's the one that allows you to summon Harpie monsters from your deck to the field by discarding a Harpie card. You have Harpie Perfumer, who can add spells or traps from your deck that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your deck to your hand. Because these two are the most prominent monsters that you want to either have access to as soon as possible, either in your hand or in the deck or even in the graveyard because of a lot of the other effects, that this is the trio that you want. I'm running triple Harpie Harpist because I want to search during the end phase to get a lot of the other pieces. Because sometimes you're not going to go first, or sometimes you are going to go first, and you just want to prep ahead. Harpist is a great discard card for cards like Hysteric Party and Harpie Channeler, and even Forbidden Droplets. So there is a lot of good range to Harpist. Next up is Harpie Lady 1. Now, if you don't want to run Harpie Lady 1, you have the option of running Cyber Harpie. You have the option to run Vanilla Harpie Lady, splash in a couple of those unexpected die, and then really get a big hold of it. I'm just more so of liking Harpie 1 because that is the additional attack boost. You can swap her for Cyber Harpie, maybe 1 Cyber Harpie, 2 Harpie Lady 1. I'm just not a really big fan of Cyber Harpie in a triple set because I feel like there isn't much she can do on her own. But because she is Harpie Lady, your primary target outside of Egotist is pretty much any of the Harpie ladies and sisters. So you just range it out of how which Harpie lady you feel best will help you and how you built it. I just built it with Harpie Lady 1 in mind because she's the most easiest to get to, and I don't really have much of a problem with Harpie Lady 1. Next up is Harpie Oracle, and this is doubled up because, well, I have a 6 here, I have an 8 here. This is a summon on a extend. This is probably the only Harpie monster with, a extension clause to her because she can self-summon herself while you have that level 5 or higher Harpie monster. It's a little hard in some cases because that means you do have to focus on running a lot of your bigger monsters. But the benefit of it is that that's an additional monster on the board for a Link or an Exceed play. And then on top of that, the recovery during the end phase, which can be very useful. Harpie Dancer. This is, bounce back, put another wind monster on the board. There's only need for one dancer. If the format ever did change to where multiple dancers could be useful, like Divine Wind of Mist Valley going to 2, which that's never going to happen because Dancer exists, and a lot of other cards to help correspond with that, just one Dancer is probably all we're going to technically need and not really have much to worry about. Oh, I have to go get Dancer, but you kind of don't need to rush for Dancer. Also to note, Dancer's real big combo setups happens on a lot of other monsters, but there are other monsters to help correspond with that. So you're not going to lose out too much. Next up is Harpie Queen, and this is kind of also one of those situations where there's other cards in the archetype that can do what she does but better. And I think honestly just having her as the additional card just helps out so you can search out for Hunting Ground in case you can't get to Perfumer or Oracle fast enough. And that you do still have the wait to the end phase for sign. Harpie Lady Sisters. Now this is probably the only big issue monster that I'm running in the archetype, and that's probably because I have to summon her first with Egotist. Other than that, it's the other target for Elegant Egotist, the highest static winged beast in the main, and a lot can still happen thanks to Harpie Lady Sisters. So then there's Apex Avion for, of course, the Simorg play. And then following the Simorg play is Barrier Statue of the Stormwind. Because, well, why not lock your opponent into playing nothing but Wind, since most decks in the game probably are not playing Wind or trying to fit into some Wind setup. So, yeah. Next up is the spells. We got Triple Hysteric Sign, one of Harpie's best spells, because during that end phase, add those 3 Harpie cards from your deck to your hand, are activated to add Egotist to your hand. So you get a lot of search out of this card. Just a note, you can't do both effects on the same turn. This is probably still one of the 3 ofs that a lot of people play because it has so much utility. Another 3 of that can be a questionable 2 of is Elegant Egotist. This is primarily bumped because Egotist only has one restriction to it, and that's having Harpie Lady on the field. Whether it's yours, your opponent, you're going to have a Harpie on the field. And the thing about this is it doesn't just summon Harpie Lady, it summons Harpie Lady Sisters, and that can also be an extend play there. The downside is that we do wish we had more monsters that were Harpie Lady Sisters without the restriction, or that we had more Harpie Ladies. I mean, we have Harpie Ladies, but the restriction probably just means to sisters. That we love a monster that treats itself as Harpie Lady Sisters, that Egotists can get off, and that they didn't just have the effect of being locked behind summon of Elegant Egotists. But maybe sometime in the future. Double Hunting Ground. This is, of course, our filth spell, and majority of the time you're popping cards with this. At a point, you're popping your own, and we have at least 2 of the cards that we can easily take advantage of when they are destroyed by card effect. So, other than that, it's just an additional 200 boost. Alluring Mirror Split. Now, this is also controversial because I'm running 2. I like this card because of its secondary effect, which is when it's destroyed, you summon a Harpie monster from your graveyard to the board. Does not matter what the name of that Harpie monster is, as long as it has Harpie in its name, you can summon it, and just an added additional setup card for your extended plays. Not to mention, you do get to search this off of Perfumer and retrieve it from Oracle. Harpie's Feathergrass. Now, I'm only checking in 1 because I don't really think this is one of those cards that needs the multiple. You primarily do want to see your Harpies in the grave, but The benefit to this card is the draw power and the recovery, because you can cover primarily your Harpie Channeler, your Harpie Perfumer, have them ready to go. Maybe your Harpie Ladies if you need Egotists to be going off. And you're only restricted to a summon of Wind, but that's perfectly fine because most of your Wind cards are going to be some big individual setups, and you're going to be sitting on a lot of things to keep your opponent at bay. The last cards of it are, of course, triple tactic talents. This is primarily for Harpies to make up for the. We kind of don't have our own generic draw card. We have a generic draw card, but it has its own restrictions. The only real restriction to this card is that your opponent just needs to activate an effect. Which, hey, if someone can take the fall, go for the triple T, drop the triple T, and either draw cards off of this, disrupt your opponent's hand, or take control of a monster. Then we have Forbidden Droplets, which is just another Harpie's Feather Storm, which can really spike up depending on what cards you discard and make your opponent cry, because if you send practically all three, Monster, Spell, and Trap, to the grave, yeah, you can make your opponent not have any activation of those cards or their effects till the end of the turn. So you get some real good profit off of that. Next up is Harpie's Feather Storm as we go on to the trap cards, and this is of course Harpie's biggest, one of Harpie's two of the biggest played Harpie traps, because Feather Storm is a hand trap. You just need a Harpie on the field, negate the effects of your opponent's monsters to the activation of your opponent's monster effects to the end of the turn, and then you have ways to search for it, essentially off of Hysteric Sign. Then you have Hysteric Party, which is just your big special summon. If triple party isn't your thing, you can just deck it out and then just add some more spells, maybe some more monsters. But I do like the triple party, and just because of how a lot of this is going right now, if you can end phase and recover, party is one of those things. And party can get pretty nasty. It really can. I've seen some nasty combos with party. Especially with the next lady, because we're going to go in an extra deck and add a Cyber Slash Harpie Lady, our first synchro, and one of the highest attacked winged beasts for the Harpie archetype. Literally a simple summon, just need a synchro, a tuner and a non-tuner, but you can treat a Harpie monster as a tuner for her synchro summon, and then quick effect, you can target one card on the field when your opponent activates a card effect. You can get a card they control or a Harpie monster you control and return those cards back to the hand. So you get some edge there. All on a level 8 attacker with some really good stats attached to her. And not too hard to make either, because you can easily first turn Channeler, dump, get a monster, go into Cyber Slash, and then just sit on cards from there. Harpie Conductor, another one of our extra deck Harpie ladies. She's primarily here just to help Link climb. She does have her defensive plays as well. And good combos too, because she can combo with Cyber Slash, she can combo with Dancer, she can even combo with Harpies to help you remove more monsters from the field. Even though Harpies don't have a destruction effect attached to them with a lot of their monster effects, the bounce effect can be pretty deadly if your opponent wasted a whole bunch of resources to do it. Winnie the Wind Charmer is only here because it's here to help Celine, the Queen of Master Magician. You have the one copy of the Fruitless Flower, just for the additional normals. This is for such some of the level 4 lower Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster, so it does help extend some plays there. And then the draw one, then send one card from your hand to the bottom of the deck can also be very resourceful. Celine to help Link climb, so you can go into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker, of course, can send banish a Link monster in your grave, make its attack equal to the Link rating of that monster times 1,000, and it has a way to get rid of cards as well. So not too bad there. We have some more Bird of Sovereignty to help get into our Mist Valley Apex Avian, go into our barrier statue, and just hold down the fort. And then we have this big guy right here, Shriek the Wicked Wings, who every time a Beast Warrior, Winged Beast monster, or itself is summoned to the field, banish a card on the field, and that can be pretty nasty, especially in phase Hysteric Party, or in phase, or on your opponent's turn, have this get destroyed, summon a Harpie, and then this triggers. So Yeah, and all on a winged beast with 3k attack. We desperately needed someone that generic. And I'm not saying that the black winged options weren't bad, it's just none of them were good. And we're kind of at a point where Harpies, if they needed tuners, we're kind of not going for a black wing. We're going to go for something really big that can do some damage. And I figured that, because we need something really big, really destructive on us, that we aren't really too relegated to, Shriek would be one. Then we, of course, have our removal in the forms of both Chidori and Castell. We have Zero Fine for the wide negate. We have Phantasmal, just to sit there and poke. And then we have another widespread removal in the form of Double A Zeus. This is primarily a monster that you put on top of an Exceed monster when it is battling. Then you detach materials from this card to pretty much wipe the field. You only need 2 material, and primarily you can put this on a good portion of monsters, just as long as the monster that you use is a monster that was Exceed Summon. Zeus is probably going to be very expensive, because look at what Zeus can do. 3k attack and defense, level rank 12 Exceed monster that can put itself on top of an Exceed monster as Exceed material during the battle phase, mind you, and can send cards to the graveyard. Oh, and then attach cards to itself from the hand, deck, or extra. So, yeah, there is some uses there. Just don't use this with Hysteric Sign, because it's not going to get its effect. I should point that out. Because I hear a lot of people are doing this, and no. You have to remember, Sign has to be on the field or in the hand, being sent to the graveyard for its effect to work. Alright, now, with all of that explanation said and done, the only real thing to talk about, of course, is just some additional options. If you can't get to a lot of these cards, or cards are too expensive, just remember you have some options there. You can always still go into your Thunderbird plays, if Thunderbird is something you still want to do. If this card does come to the TCG, please start testing out Grimsnar, Grimsnar? I think it's Grimsnar? Yeah, because this monster can can target level 4 or lower winged dragon or winged beast monsters, such summon into the field. Their effects are negated, but this is a quick way to go into a lot of link monsters off of this one monster. Oh, and it's tuner, so take some advantage of that as well. Garuda the Wind Spirit. This is in combination with the Tri Brigade cards, because banishing a wind monster in your graveyard, summon this card to the field, is an extend. And then, of course, you can try it out with Tri Brigade Revolt to really get a lot of more monsters on the field, and then link into some of your big link monsters, primarily Simorg or Shriek. Then you have the options, of course, of the Utopia package, just so that you can have a big beat stick that has really nothing to worry about during the battle phase. Everything else kind of going to suck for it, but at that point, making Utopia, you're going for games, if that's ever the case. Tornado Dragon to remove some cards from the field. You can easily remove your Harpies, your Hysteric Sign, if that's ever a problem. Then you have Babushka, the stall out is ever needed. Playing the combos, you can also still play, your Barrel Sword Dragon, Barrel Load, and stuff like that. If you're playing the Dragunity setup, or you want to play into the Dragunity setup, Ramulus is a great addition, especially because Ramulus can go get Divine Lance. Divine Lance can help put, a good base of Dragunity monsters onto the field. You're pretty much just using this to link climb into Barrel Sword Dragon, Barrel Savage Dragon. If those are some ideas you wanted to play around with. Still kind of trying to test out some builds on that. But Union Carrier to help with some more plays. Mind Control, Monster Reborn, and Upstart Goblin were just some options in case you can't afford the droplets or the triple T's. This is primarily for those players who aren't going to really invest that much. Still want some options for your deck, or just wanting to play off of cards, even if you do have access to an online way of playing. Some cards are still very expensive, and there are some ideas for some thoughts that can at least help, especially when it comes to cards still being expensive, even through what's going on. And then the Tri Brigade Revolt is just another variation of Hysteric Party. I would actually suggest trying to try this out with Trap Trick, so you can place it on the field and really get into some stuff there. So, yeah, that is just pretty much it for this video. And I do hope you guys enjoy it. And I've just laid out a good portion of things, if not, at least for a skeleton. So, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys are informed of when I do upload more content. And then also hit me up on social media so I can, interact with you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. HPJ signing out and take care.